Hi.
Hey, how's it going?
Um, I feel pretty good. I got off of work at like 1 in the morning. Came home. I came home. Went to IHOP because I was hungry as fuck,
Yeah.
and then I went to sleep. And I slept like a really long time. And I woke up at like 1. It's like, oh, Nintendo had a direct at 9 in the morning. I'm like, uh, well, let me look
Yeah.
at it. Well, I looked at it on my phone. I was like, oh, okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
I got a few thoughts. Not a lot of thoughts, but a few thoughts.
All right. Well, since you're here, we will just go ahead and get started.
Cool.
Hello, everybody out there in the YouTube. This is Kenoshi Abominita here with another Project Console. We're talking about the events today at the Nintendo Direct. Um, so, before we get started, I'd like my panelist member to introduce himself.
Yo, it's me, Mr. Red Fox, owner proprietor BS Busters. This is not my cast. This is Kenosha's cast. So glad to be on another one, and glad to be here. What's up?
Glad to have you here. And it's Kenoshi Abominita, as I stated. So, earlier today, Nintendo Direct happened. And it wasn't particularly anything mind blowing. It was, just a standard. It was a showcase. It was an indie showcase, and then we had a partner showcase. Uh, there are a couple of things here that I was interested in, but we'll run through them and talk about each one. So the first game they showed was a card game, uh, Latro, Friends of Jimbo, kicking things off with the Indie World presentation, hit card game, Blendo, or uh, no, Balatro is a crossover with four other games: The Witcher, Among Us, uh, Vampire Survivor, Dave the Diver. This will see several decks inspired by those games as part of today's update. So the update came out today. Any thoughts?
Um, I mean, if you're into games like that, then it's great. I like games like that, but not quite in that model.
Yeah,
I know what they're doing. Like the indies are trying to help each other out, so like they can get a little bit of shine. Even though Dave the Diver, it was not an indie game.
yeah, yeah,
It was presented as such. It was not, in fact, an indie game. But you know, I get what they were doing. They're like, well, you can help me out, I can help you out, blah 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 blah, etc. etc. I was just kind of like, yeah, it's okay. I mean,
yeah, yeah. I'm not really into this sort of. I'm not into this sort of thing. I thought, well, you know, I guess it's for people who are.
I
Um,
like card games. I'm currently playing through Bait and Katos, which is a card battle game, but not card battle games the way they're doing it. I don't like that.
yeah,
It's just straight up poker. Whereas Bait and Katos is you create a deck for each character, and there's like more strategy involved than just straights and flushes and all that shit. I know this game has like cards. Certain cards have special functions. They can do cool shit, but um,
yeah, yeah.
if there was a demo, maybe. But
The next game they announced was Neva. The developer behind Chris had a few more details to share on Neva, a game about motherhood, where players take on the role of Elba, accompanied by a young wolf cub, Neva, Alba will have to learn to protect Neva as it grows up, um, repaying her kindness by becoming her guardian. The game releases October 15th.
Yeah, I mean, that looked kind of cool, but the thing is that that's going to hit multiple platforms. So I'm like, do I want to play that on the Switch where it's probably going to have frame drops and only be at 30 frames per second, or do I want to play that on on a PC where I can get 60?
Yeah,
And for
yeah, exactly.
platformers, that matters. Like,
Yeah,
spoiler, that's going to be a key term I'm going to use during this during this cast. Do I want to run it at sub 30 frames per second with bad performance, or do I want to play it at higher performance levels?
yeah.
But that's just me.
A lot of chuggers in this direct. That's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Sea of Stars. Throes of the Watchmaker DLC is a free update that's coming out March of next year. So that's cool. Sea of Stars getting extra content.
Well, yeah, it's like Chrono Trigger, but I mean, I was about to say but it's essentially Chrono Trigger
Yeah, yeah,
and Mario and Super Mario RPG.
yeah.
So I'm not bothered by that.
And then there's Coffee Talk. Uh, yeah, Coffee Talk Tokyo. Uh, one of the coziest game series. Coffee Talk is headed to Tokyo. Expect regional regional monsters looking for a shoulder to lean on. Japanese inspired. Japanese inspired laddie art when the game arrives in 2025. I don't know.
Yeah,
Probably
the
not for me.
trailer had a kappa in there. I was like, oh, that's an ugly dude. And then at the end, he's like, well, one for my head. And I was like, oh no, he's supposed to be a kappa. Okay, I was wondering. I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah,
Why is this ugly dude with that terrible bald spot? And then I was like, oh, he's a kappa. Okay, that makes sense.
yeah.
It was not well explained, but it makes sense now.
And then this was an interesting concept. Moth Cubit, a mix of the detective game and Dance Dance Revolution, and seemingly several other genres. Moth Cubit will be cracking uh, cracking some cases and dance moves in spring 2023. So apparently you play as a bug in this corporation and you get a promotion, but some strange things are happening and you have to solve
And
these various mysteries.
it appears to have like not traditional combat.
Yeah, yeah,
Or I could be wrong, but from what I saw, it looked like non-traditional combat, which I'm okay with. That doesn't bother me. Try something
yeah.
different.
Yeah, apparently your combat's based off of arguments you get in with the various different patrons of the company as you figure things out.
Yeah, I mean it's good to do something different.
Another cozy game because we can't get enough of those. Power Power Wash Simulator, which is this one is like a DLC, a paid DLC that's based off of the uh, Shrek locations. So
Yeah, I think this
is
should have
this
came out when that new Shrek movie came out, or
yeah?
the new Shrek movie comes out,
So
because they're doing another Shrek.
if you don't get enough of cleaning shit in your own house, you can clean shit virtually, I guess.
Yeah, man. Yeah, that's right.
uh,
But here's the thing: I have a cleaning service. I don't clean shit in my own house,
oh wow.
so I don't necessarily want to clean shit in a video game. Now it's like, you know what? You know what I want to do? What, Steve? I want to clean shit virtually. That's the life, son. Cleaning shit virtually.
And let's see. Date evening. Date evening is
Date everything.
oh, date everything.
No.
Date everything is living up to its name, as a new trailer showed just how you really will be able to strike up a relationship with anything you see, including the game itself. That is a weird concept.
But, I mean, they had a game where you could date your weapons. Not the same company, but there was another game that came out last year where Boyfriend Dungeon, and don't let the boyfriend fool you. There were female and gender fluid, non-conforming weapons as well. So if there's a game where you can basically make your weapon more powerful by taking it on dates where you're not delving dungeons, a game where everything in your house can become something you can date. I mean, kind of makes sense. The only
Yeah.
weird thing is that I saw the trailer for it. Like, no, I saw the Gamescom light dive of the gameplay, and apparently you can also date the toilet, and that's just weird.
Yeah, that's weird.
Hey, look, it's already too close, man. I don't need that level of closeness with things in my
Yeah.
house. All right,
Yeah.
okay, that's a little too much, a little too close.
Headed to Golden Boy territory. Anyway, Pizza Tower. This looks interest. This game looks pretty good. It's already on PC though. Doesn't really matter. It looks like a Wario. Looks like a Wario Land game. If you played those on the Game Boy, that's what it reminds me of.
You know,
Heavily.
the only problem, in my opinion, with this game is that there's already a better WarioWare type game out there called was it called Antoine? Jesus, forgot the name. Anton Blast,
Oh, okay.
where Anton Blast, where it's basically WarioWare, not WarioWare. It's more of a Wario game than Pizza Tower,
Yeah.
and the art style's a little bit better. Like it looks like Wario Land 4 for the GBA.
What's the game called?
Anton Blast.
Anton Blast. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. Because
Um.
Pizza Tower's art style looks a little shitty. I'm
Yeah.
just saying. It's like, it's a little shitty.
Star Overdrive. We got our first look at the Star Overdrive from the developer uh, Dear Villagers during the Nintendo Direct today, and it will be available in 2023 as a timed exclusive for the Switch. Imagine the Legend of Zelda with a hoverboard, and you've got a good idea of what to expect from this title. Yeah, this game looked interesting. Kind of like
Yeah, yeah. It's a console exclusive, which means it'll hit PC, and that's where I'll be playing it because it looks like you need steady frame rates for this game, and you will not be getting that on the Switch at
yeah,
all. Don't hope
yeah,
for it.
yeah, yeah. It was chugging. It chugged.
I don't know about you, but I don't want to play an action game with frames skipping.
Yeah,
But hey, everyone do their own. You do you, bro.
yeah. All right. Ghost Simulator 3, another gas simulator game. Eh. I never really was into I never really was into that idea. Never really did anything for me.
Goat Simulator.
Yeah.
Here's what I'm gonna say about Goat Simulator. Goat Simulator looks like a fun game to watch someone play.
Yeah.
Like a
Yeah,
Twitch
I would
stream of
agree.
it. It's like this is fun. I wouldn't actually want to just sit in my house and play that by itself. I'm like,
Yeah, you know what? I agree with that. Yeah, you can get some, watch somebody play it and maybe get some funny commentary.
yeah. Like watching, like there's some games that I would like to see someone play versus me actually playing it.
Yeah. Tetris Forever. All the Tetris game you could ever want or could ever ask for.
Let me put a caveat to there. The good Tetris games, no Tetris EA or
Yeah.
Ubisoft.
Yeah.
We're going strictly old school, y'all, and I might get this just because I like old school Tetris.
Yeah.
I'm one of those people. I like old school Tetris.
Yeah.
I'm one of those bastards. Oh, you like old school Tetris? Yeah, I like old school Tetris. And some of the spin-offs. I do like some of the Tetris spin-offs, like Tetris Attacks, um, which is Tetris Attacks is actually paneled upon, but they didn't want to do paneled upon, so they added Yoshi characters and called it Tetris Attacks. But I like it.
Yeah. Um, the Legend of Heroes, Trails in the Sky, the first. Um,
So I guess
here's
it's the
another.
first game of the series,
I have no idea, but
or at least like a reimagining of the first game, like a good entry point because there's like 28 games in that franchise.
yeah, yeah.
So, you know, it's like, God damn, I can't play 28 goddamn games.
Also, if you think Nintendo's bad at dropping prices, this company also is just this game never drops in price.
New Falcon?
Yeah, these games never go. These
Oh,
when they
they
go on
do.
sales, they you
It's
get like
just
maybe
very rare.
$10 off.
You got to go to
Yeah,
like GOG to find them on sale.
yeah,
Like, you're not going to get them, you know. Nintendo used to be good about dropping prices back in the day.
yeah, yeah. But
Not so much these days, but back in the day they did.
and then here's another chugger. That's SpongeBob. SpongeBob SquarePants, the Patrick Star game. Yeah, there were some points in this trailer where it was just like, where the Switch was just ready to die. It's like, I was like, wow, okay, maybe
It's
it's
going to run
time
like
to finally
shit.
move on.
I mean,
What?
that might be part of the reason because it is Patrick Star, and Patrick Star is kind of not all the way there.
Yeah, it kind of fits his
I'm saying that
character,
he's
I
an
guess.
idiot. Yeah, Patrick's an idiot. Okay, so it kind of makes sense that he would be like, oh, you know, this is the guy who thought wumbo was a verb.
Yeah.
I wumbo, you wumbo, he, she, it wumbos. He conjugated a made up word.
uh, Fitness Boxing 3, your personal trainer. I don't
Yeah,
know.
man.
I guess people are motivated by exercise games. I just work
You
out.
know, I just wish Nintendo would just make a Wii Sports 3. Like, why do they keep on doing all this fucking bullshit? Just a Wii Sports 3. Wii Sports.
Yeah. Marvel vs. Capcom Fighting Collection Arcade Classics. I'll probably pick that up.
Yeah, but it's also coming to
PC.
PC.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably get it for PC. Maybe get well. I don't really want to get a physical copy because everything might not be on the cartridge because they've known to do that. So
Yeah, but
I might just
if you
get
get it
it
on
PC.
Steam, you can download it. So even if once you own the license on Steam, you can still download it even if they remove it from sale. Whereas Physical version, you just never know.
Yeah. So, um, Capcom Fighting Collection 2. Um, I
Yeah,
saw a
man.
couple of games on there that I think gave some people we know
Look, man, Power
a hard
Stone
time.
1 and 2.
Yeah.
It's the first time that the Punisher video game where you can play player 1 can be the Punisher, player 2 could be Nick Fury. Look, a game that has never been ported to home console. Never. Never. So I
That's
know
true.
some people we know jizzed in their pants when they heard Power Stone 1 and 2.
Yeah.
And another person probably jizzed in their pants for Project Viper.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people had to change their underwear. That's all I'm saying.
Capcom's like, we have a lot of old games that we could repackage and sell to people.
And we're doing fuck all with them too. Just fuck all. Just absolutely nothing. So
Exactly.
why?
Uh, I have no idea why this game got big. Five Nights at Freddy, help wanted. It's just a jump scare horror game. Some
And not
reason,
even a good one.
not even a good one.
And everyone's
Not
like,
even a
Five
good
Nights
one.
at Freddy. I'm like, this is bullshit though. Why are we Five Nights at Freddy is trash. Yeah, I said it.
Yeah.
People get mad when you mention that though. I like Five Nights at Freddy. There's deep lore. I'm like, what? How fucking deep can the lore be? It's Chuck E. Cheese.
It's really just a demented version of Chuck E. Cheese. Yeah. Yeah. That's all it is.
That's all it is. It's Chuck E. Cheese and the Fun Time Bears. Okay. Shit. Don't bullshit me. I know what the fuck what I'm saying. God damn.
Yeah. And then there's Rune Factory, Guardians of Atma.
Just call it Rune Factory 5. It's Rune Factory 5. It's
Yeah.
Rune Factory 5. Rune Factory 4 was the first fully 3D Rune Factory, and this is Rune Factory 5. Now, here's the problem. I saw the gameplay trailer for this, and I'm like, if this is running on Switch hardware, or this is the Switch build of this game, fucking Christ, don't get this on the Switch. Because it runs like ass.
Yeah.
Now, let me I'm going to keep it real. Rune Factory 4 ran like ass on PC too.
Yeah.
And I have a relatively powerful PC.
Yeah.
So if a game, if I have a relatively powerful PC and the game doesn't run too well on my shit, then you know good and hell well that it's probably going to run like shit on the Switch.
Yeah.
Everyone knows it's going to run like shit on the Switch because the Switch is not a powerful console whatsoever. You could say it's a piece of shit in terms of its technical prowess at running high performance games. You have to quote unquote optimize, which basically means you're going in there and you're basically just fucking with a lot of shit to get it to run to a halfway decent state.
Yeah.
Now I'm not at listen, okay, look. Not every game needs to run at 60 frames per second. I understand that. But for a game like Rune Factory where you're adding like combat and people fighting and shit, I'm sorry. I need 60 frames solid.
Yeah.
Can't have that shit just barely, chugging along and shit.
Yeah. Yeah. Because it's also one part cozy game, one part action RPG. So yeah, definitely would like that frame rate. That's for sure.
Well, you don't you don't like that. You don't like that. You don't like that you're fighting monsters and it's like, oh, it's dipping down to 17, 12 frames per second. Oh.
Yeah. Next thing you know, you're fighting a giant giant monster breathing fire. And, because of the particle effects, the CPU just can't handle it, and it's like, this is too much.
The greatest enemy, the greatest enemy in that game isn't going to be the monsters. It's going to be that fucking frame rate if you're playing it on the Switch.
Yeah.
The frame rate, it's so bad. Why did I buy this on the Switch? Oh wait, because I was pulled in by I can play my games anywhere. Look, to paraphrase Ian Malcolm in Jurassic Park, just because you have the technology and you can do something doesn't mean you should do something.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, I can play AAA games on the go on a subpar system. Don't do that, please.
Yeah. Lego Horizon Adventure. So
Looks interesting.
yeah.
I mean, I don't really give a shit about Lego. I don't like Horizon, so that doesn't really. I know some people. Oh, but it's Horizon Alloy. I don't give a fuck, guys. Maybe this will be the Horizon game that doesn't get overshadowed by Legend of Zelda game,
Yeah.
like every other Horizon game.
But Alloy is about as interesting as as wet paint. It's about
Well, it's
it.
for me. It's not the character. Like I don't really care if the character is or is not interesting. That the issue with Aloy is just she's is the thing with the with Horizon games that every time they tried to release a Horizon game, it would come out around the time of some other big ass game. Like the first one came out near Breath of the Wild, and Breath of the Wild kicked its ass.
Yeah.
Because people were like, because Horizon was still on it made in the old way, which is like, oh, you see that mountain? There's a way up to that mountain, but you got to follow a specific path. Breath of the Wild's like, oh, you see that mountain? You can climb that mountain. Now, whether or not you have the stamina to climb that mountain, that's up to you. But you can climb it if you have the stats for it. Um, and then Horizon, the second Horizon came out, and I think didn't Ghost of Tsushima, some other big, huge open world game came out around the same time, and it just kicked its ass. I'm like, this game cannot catch a break.
No.
This franchise can't catch a break. So maybe this time they're like, well, maybe we put out a Lego game. No one will put out shit that'll dismantle this one.
Watch the Lego game outsells the original two games combined. That'd be hilarious.
I mean, I wouldn't say it couldn't happen because a lot of people like Lego games. I mean, I like Lego games. If it was the thing about Lego games is that it's all Lego franchise games. That it's all about what IP are they doing it about. If it's an IP that you care about, it's like this IP is amazing. If it's some bullshit, I just don't care.
Well, they're kind of doing the thing that I've been kind of wanting companies to do and take their IPs and put them into different elements or different genres. To
Yeah,
help spread awareness of that IP and maybe to help fund I the next adventure within that IP. I don't know.
no, because
Makes too
someone
much
just
sense, I
licensed
guess.
it. It's not enough money coming to them to really fund a new Horizon game.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's a good point.
Like they were like, we got to make some money off of this IP, even because every time we release it, it gets overshadowed by some other shit. And they're like, well, I guess we'll give it to Lego because Lego tends to do all right.
Yeah, not a lot of time. Probably not a ton of time to develop. Development costs are probably
Yeah, because they
relative.
already have the engine. They've been using the same engine for like since I want to say Lego Marvel 3
Yeah,
or Lego Marvel 2, one of the Lego games where they like no, I think it was the Star Wars game where they came up with a new engine. The new Star Wars all nine films, those shitty films.
yeah.
So,
So there's also Peglin, which is a puzzle RPG game. Where you're trying to stop dragons from stealing the gold of the
Goblin.
gnomes, goblins.
Yeah, it's a goblin. It's a goblin trying to get his shit back,
Yeah,
which is very interesting. I'm like, you know what? I got respect because that little guy. I have that game on PC. That little guy is like he's a little tiny little goblin fighting everything with just a slingshot. I'm like, God damn, props to you, bro. Because all you got is a slingshot, and you're trying your best. I root for anybody who's fighting the world with just a slingshot.
Yeah, yeah. It's a what's it? Oh, roguelike pachinko inspired RPG. That's how it's described.
Well,
It's funny.
it's yeah. Well, I wouldn't say pachinko. Have you ever played those games? Those games when you were a kid, where it was like you had like like a small metal ball bearing inside of a little game thing, and you were trying to get it into a slot. That's what it is,
Yeah,
digitally,
yeah,
like video game wise. I guess pachinko's like that. I've never really played pachinko all that much, but yeah, it's kind of like that.
yeah,
But it's a little bit. There's a little bit more strat because you can upgrade shit. You can upgrade shit in your you can like add up you can like upgrade your slingshot and create and have items. You have different ammo you can use that'll change up how you do damage and what happens when the little thing that you shoot out does certain stuff. So it's not just pachinko in that regards, I
yeah.
would say. But yeah, yeah, I mean if you like stuff like that, it's pretty good. You know?
And then there's more. Then there's morsels. Morsels was a mouse looking to survive in a world full of hungry cats. So that's a roguelike game where you play as a mouse fighting off cats. And there's a
Yeah.
card system where you turn into some weird looking monsters,
Mutated creatures.
mutated creatures.
The art style makes it interesting enough. Now I don't know if it's a good game, but it looks interesting. That's what I'll say.
Yeah,
Yeah, I saw it. I'm like, oh, this kind of. I'm not ecstatic with joy about it, but I like it for what it is. It's nothing.
and then Wobbly Life. Uh, out December. Out in December. Uh, Wobbly Life is an open world physics game where almost everything is interactive that you uh, after your grandmother kicks you out of the home, you'll have to carry out dozens of unique missions so that you can live your best and wobbliest life possible. I don't know.
Yeah, it's one of those games that's just kind of interesting.
Yeah.
It doesn't do shit for me, but for everything there is something.
Pico Park 2, you play as a bunch of cats trying to navigate through the world's multiplayer game. Um, you can play up to 8 people, and you're just trying to navigate through these uh, different areas. There's also a dark mode that's a harder mode. So, yeah, I guess if you have friends you like to play with, I guess it sounds all right.
I mean, thing is, if you're gonna play a game like that, you have to be like your friends have to be gamers and on point. Oh, or
Yeah,
you have to have voice chat. Unfortunately, the Switch doesn't have voice chat. I
yeah.
don't think. Does the Switch have voice chat?
No, you have to do it through the phone.
Yeah. So let me get this straight. You put a game that has online multiplayer that requires coordination on a system that does not have voice chat.
Yeah,
Okay. All right. That doesn't sound stupid. I mean, it does, but I'm being facetious. I'm being facetious.
um, and even more indies. Plucky Squire. which that game looks pretty good. Can't wait to play that.
Yeah,
When does it come out? It comes out September 17th, so it comes out soon.
yeah, that's next month,
Sho-
about 3 weeks away.
Shovel Knight, Shovel of Hope DX, an
Yeah,
enhanced
it's
edition
the
of the.
gameplay with all the stuff to added to it, all the little bennies, all the little extra shit.
Yeah.
I like the concept. I like the concept. I don't know if it's gonna work, but I like the concept.
On Your Tail, a saluting story driven life simulator that'll launch on November 21st. Uh, Cuisine near dungeon crawling and restaurant management gameplay combined into dynamic RPGs dish. Fish out fall 2024. Metal Slug Tactics. That's a Metal Slug Tactic game. Europa 3D action platformer with a beautiful environment to explore that'll land on October 11th. A free demo is also available now. Okay. Um, anything jumped out at you?
No.
No.
Here's what I'm gonna say. Only one game was I was like, oh, that looks interesting, and that was Rune Factory 5. The stuff that they announced after that, the partner showcase, I'm like, it's,
The
it's,
My
it's okay.
Sims, Cozy Puzzle.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I'm like, I didn't give a fuck about My Sims when it was on the Wii. I really don't give a fuck about it now. The Sims hasn't been good for years.
Yeah.
All right.
Sid Meier's Civilization 7, that poor CPU, that poor Switch CPU is just going to get devastated.
Yeah. If you're gonna get
Like,
that game, get it on PC. Why would you want to play? Why would you want to play a Civilization game on anything other than a PC?
yeah.
Like, I don't understand that shit.
My son, I must treasure the time we have left. We must.
You know, the only game that I've ever seen ported to a console, and I'm like, oh, this console port is pretty good, is SimCity,
Yeah.
Change is what permits
and that was back in the day on the
us
Super
like
Nintendo.
itself. The violence we have inflicted on the planet is returning to us tenfold.
Yeah. Yeah. Dragon Quest 3 HD 3 remake. That is,
I mean, come on, man.
Yeah.
We all know that game's gonna be fucking amazing.
It's coming out November 14th.
Yeah, yeah. No one's gonna be like, oh man, Dragon Quest 3. I mean, you know, chronologically speaking, that's the first game in the Lodo trilogy, which they renamed it the Erdrick trilogy. But I remember the original translation. The main character in the trilogy, the legendary hero in the first Dragon Quest game that came out, which was Dragon Quest One, which is actually the second game in the series, the Lodo trilogy, his name is Lodo. Okay, so you know you get to play the game from the first game. Spoiler alert, but the game is like 30 something years old at this point. The main character, the hero of Dragon Quest 3 HD 2D is Erdrick. He's Lodo.
Yeah.
You get to create the journey for the character.
And then there's Castlevania Dominance Collection, which is a bunch of Castlevania games that were on the DS. So if you don't already own those games, and or you sold all those games, or your mother sold all those games when you were away at college, you know, it's
What, the
give 'em a second
Castlevania
chance,
games?
I guess. Yeah, it's Castlevania games.
I mean, look, it's good that what's their name? It's good that shit. It's good that Konami actually decided to license this shit out so that this shit out so people can play these games. Now, I kind of fell off of the handheld Castlevania games when they went to the DS because I didn't like the DS gimmicks, like blow into the mic in order to blow these characters away and use the stylus to do this bullshit. I don't like that in games. Like, for handheld, the fact that it's handheld is gimmicky enough. I don't need other shit on top of that. For me, the fact that it's portable is okay. That's good. That's all I need.
Yeah. Five Nights at Freddy's Security Breach Ruin. It's another one of those. Yakuza Kiwami. It's also. I think that's already on PC, isn't it?
Yakuza Kiwami, yeah, it's been out on PC and everything else. It finally hit the Switch, y'all. You can finally play the first. You can finally play the remake of the first Yakuza. I'm gonna let you in a little secret. The graphics are much better in Kiwami, but I prefer the combat system of the first Yakuza versus how they overhauled it in Kiwami. Kiwami turns it into like a straight up like old school style beat 'em up, whereas like more reactive. Whereas the old one, you kind of had like once you were in a combat like a attack animation, you kind of were committed to it, but the enemies were committed to theirs too, so you could kind of cheese them a little bit easier, which I preferred.
Yeah.
But it's to each his own.
Let's see, a tier, Yumiya, the alchemist of memories, and the envision land. So let's see the alchemy themed JRPG series where it returns, and that this time players will take control of a new protagonist named Yumiya as she confronts her dark past. Yeah, sounds like a JRPG.
Yeah, man. I mean, if you like JRPGs, I mean, I haven't really enjoyed a Atelier game for a long time. I find them to be kind of what's the word I'm looking for? Lame.
Generic.
The last time I played an Atelier game that I was like, oh, I enjoy this was Atelier. Was Atelier? I want to say Atelier. I want to say it was Atelier. The fuck was it? It was Atelier. It was the two Atelier games. No, it was like the Atelier games that were on the PS2, and the PS1. The PS2, which were like Monokamiya, the two Monokamiya games that were kind of like a riff off of Harry Potter, where you were at a magic school.
Yeah.
And then the Monokamiya games before that were like more traditional Monokamiya games. The Monokamiya games as they are now are just kind of like lame to me, because it turned into like, oh, let's have this girl who's barely wearing a goddamn thing, some scandalous shit. She wants to be an atelier, and she's like 15 years old. I'm like, look, I don't feel comfortable seeing a 15-year-old girl dressed like that. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm very uncomfortable with the way this girl is dressed. So y'all need to do something. I don't know. But that's just my own personal opinion. I know it's. Plus, I just haven't really liked the Atelier series for a very long time. It hasn't really done anything for me. I wish that Gust would make other games these days instead of just the Atelier series, because it's getting, the Atelier series hasn't been great for a while now. Some people gonna get mad at that. Like, but I like the Atelier series. Okay, cool. I'm just telling you how I feel.
And then Tales of Graces F is getting a remaster.
Yeah. So a game that originally came out for the
PS2 or PS3?
no, Tales of Graces F came out for the Wii.
Oh, the Wii. Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was a Wii exclusive game, and when it when the Wii wasn't like for some reason they never localized it to the Wii in America, but it came. No, sorry, the Wii. It came out for the Wii in Japan, and they never localized it because
Oh,
it's it's fucking Namco Bandai,
yeah.
trash ass company, trash ass company.
And then Suikoden 1 and 2 HD single pack coming out next year. I
Yeah,
don't know why it's coming out so late because, we heard about this game like a couple of years ago. And
yeah.
then they re-announced it, and it's coming out about a little under a year, but it's coming out next year. So that's just like what the what the
I mean,
hell?
it's Suikoden. If you're a Suikoden fan, you're looking forward to it. I really wish they would just do a Suikoden collection for like $100 with all the games.
Yeah,
Even the quote unquote shitty ones, I would play a Suikoden collection with all the games. I'd rather do that than do what they're doing, which is just like this piecemeal collection where it's like, oh well, you get this Suikoden, that Suikoden, blah 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 blah. I'd rather have all of them, but I'm one of those type of people. I like to play. I don't like this piecemeal. I know a lot of people consider Suikoden 1 and 2 to be great, but I like Suikoden 3 too.
yeah,
Like it's kind of a dick move to only have the first two Suikodens. Or you can go play Eiyuden Chronicles, which is, you know, a Suikoden game made by the Suikoden creator, which is
how is
better
it?
than this.
Yeah, I was gonna ask how is the Aiden Chronicles game?
I like it.
Oh, okay.
It's a Suikoden game, except it's a modern Suikoden game, so it has modern features that they just added to this one. It's like, oh, this is an old ass game from the PS1 era where RPGs were expected to take 80 hours to beat. Um, and Suikoden began life as a clone, as a Final Fantasy clone. Because when 7 came out, every publishing studio, developing studio in Japan was like, we want a epic RPG on the system that'll sell millions of copies. Because remember, JRPGs weren't that successful at that point until Final Fantasy 7.
Yeah,
Like if they cracked 1 million, that was like, oh man, this is some big shit. Except for Dragon Quest. Dragon Quest was the outlier, and Dragon Quest was system exclusive. But Dragon Quest was a phenomenon. You had never seen that before.
yeah. That's basically it. That's pretty much all I wanted to talk about.
All right.
Um,
You gonna give it a grade?
oh, I give it about a C minus.
Oh man, you went lower than me.
C minus, C plus.
You went lower than me, bro.
Oh,
I gave it a C.
gave it a
Like a
C.
solid C. It's a solid C. It wasn't great. It wasn't fantastic. It wasn't terrible. It was a solid, middle of the road, a solid C. Like you can tell that Nintendo's gearing up they're preparing their big shit for next year. So you can kind of tell that they're kind of like, it's kind of winding down a little bit.
Yeah.
and I'm okay with that. Like some people, oh, blah 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 blah, and I don't like. I'm like, I don't care. That's where people make mistakes because they people get hung up on bullshit and don't ignore the propaganda and look right in front of them. The Switch is what, like 8 years old now.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Switch is 8 years old, and it's
We'll have to wait for the others to come to us.
it fought the good fight. All right, but at this point, the hardware is too old to maintain for games like there's no use porting high performance games on the Switch as it is right now because the performance is so bad that it's just not worth the sacrifice.
Yeah.
So they're porting like mid tier shit to the Switch right now. Nothing wrong with that, but that's what it is.
Yeah. Other than that, is there any free topics? Anything else you'd like to discuss before we close out the show?
Nothing except I'll be playing. I'll be tomorrow night's podcast is going to focus on Star Wars Outlaws came out, and the reviews are out and they're mixed. Some people are saying it's the best Star Wars game we've had in a long time. Some people are saying that it's kind of plays it too safe. We'll give our thoughts on it and then talk about if we had our druthers and an infinite budget, what would be our ultimate, fuck what would sell well? What would be our ultimate Star Wars game? Then we'll talk about some of the other announcements they had at Gamescom that weren't covered by other people, because there are some interesting announcements they had. Starfield's new DLC is coming out at the end of next month, so we'll talk about that. That's about it.
Yeah.
Nothing too fantastical. That's it. That's all I got to talk about. I have no free topics because I'm saving it up for tomorrow. I'm saving it. I'm saving it up. I gotta save it up, man. I can't let it out. I can't let it out. I gotta save it up.
And then this Kenoshi Bob Nito, I guess my free topic would be apparently the PlayStation 5 Pro is supposedly coming out in November. Sony
Well, they
hasn't
better
said
do
anything
something.
about
They
it.
better start laying the groundwork to tell people about it, because
Yeah, I don't. It might not even exist. It might just all be hype, or it might be coming out later. Because they would have hyped it up by now. Like
they would have been starting doing something.
Yeah.
There would have been a leak about how much this shit's gonna cost. Somebody would say something.
Yeah. I just think people are so disappointed with the current hardware that they're just kind of like, well, we're just hoping that we get it. This is, these companies can't afford to keep up with, the progression of software. It might not even be so much the progression of software, just
The
fact
lack
that
of
they don't
creativity with the games.
Well,
That's what it is.
that and the lack of optimization.
Well, I mean, that's a part of it, but also there's just like even though the Switch has its issues, there's been like 4 or 5 epic style genre defining games that have hit that console. Breath of the Wild, its sequel, Mario Odyssey, apparently Metroid Prime 4 is going to hit it. Probably not. I don't know. I hope that game doesn't come to that console. But I mean, there's been some games where it's like, okay, I need to have a console in order to play this game on this system. I cannot say the same thing. There is nothing that has hit the Xbox or the PlayStation 5 where I'm like, this could have been on last gen hardware.
Yeah. Yeah. But, you know, it's pretty much all I have. And want to give your sign out?
Yeah, yeah. This is Mr. Red Fox, owner proprietor of BS Busters. Thank you for having me on your cast. I appreciate it. Um, I hope that everything works out and we can have another cast sometime in the near future. And rate your comment. Rate your game. Play your games. Don't worry about ratings or anything like that. If you like something that other people would consider utter and complete shit, if you enjoy it. But don't get mad when people call it shit. You know what you like to play. You know the quality of what you're doing. You know
Yeah.
what you did. You know. I'll be like, oh no, it's not shit. Come on, man. Yeah.
As Kanashi Bombnito, here to say, this is another Project Console. Have a good week, have a good weekend, and have a good life. We'll probably see you within the next couple of weeks.